Well, we wanted to put a video together of what's going to be our early season strategy here in a couple months, and then what bucks we're targeting, what we're following from last year. So let's just get into. Let's start out with our strategy. So we are about 2 months away from our season opener, and normally this time of year we're going to start glassing fields, start sitting on observation spots and glassing, maybe start running cameras, fall food plots, and this year's going to be a lot different. So between now and our season opener, we're going to be gone a lot. We're going to be gone a lot. We'll probably be home just a couple days here and there. So this year it's going to be no observation sits, no glassing. We're going to be going right into the early season. I think we have an advantage though, because we're hunting familiar ground. We're hunting the cabin farm and then at home here. And the stands are, we got a couple new stands this year. Some of the hang-ons that I would hunt out of, that Amy wouldn't hunt out of, we put ladder stands in and we double hung them. So we're gonna have a little more flexibility and more options this year, for sure for you, because you'll be able to hunt. We put a new ladder stand on this pond where I filmed Joe last year, this big 12-pointer, and he's dead, by the way. So that's one of the bucks I was hoping would make it, but he didn't. He got shot last year during late muzzleloader by a neighbor, which is fine. But so we put a ladder stand in and take advantage of different wind directions there, so Amy can hunt that spot. So that our strategy this year going into season opener is going to be really the same. The only thing is we won't have any observation sits or glassing to give us that intelligence that we normally have. We'll still have some cameras out, but we kind of rely on that glassing a lot, but we'll see. We'll be all right. But it's going to be passive. You know, season opener, the opening day, we'll probably go out, but we might not even hunt. It might be an observation sit the very first night. We'll have to see. But it's going to be very passive, hunting the edges, all perpendicular access, and then just kind of working our way into the season. It'll be all evening hunts. And we'll just see if we can get on a buck early or not. And if we can't get on a buck, if we don't have a good play, then we just kind of stay back and very passive. I hunt almost every day this season. Amy's been hunting more and more. But you can't be very aggressive if you're going to hunt that much and not burn your farms out. So we're pretty passive. So at home here, we got some different bucks that we've been watching. Some bucks got killed that we know of. But some bucks made it through. We got some sheds here, one from at home here and then one from the cabin farm we'll get into. But out of all the bucks, we have several bucks here at home. What are you targeting this year?
I think I'm going to target worm.
And I knew that. So Amy wanted to get in front of this buck that we nicknamed Worm last year. But why that buck?
It's got a cool name. And he's a big buck. I don't know. I just like the way he looks.
Big wide 10-pointer.
He's behind the house a lot.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but a lot.
Enough.
Yeah. We already put out one camera just a couple days ago, and the very first picture we got is of worm. So that's a good sign.
And he should be 5 this year. I let him go at least once last year. I passed him up. I think once or twice. Hoping that Lily would get a shot at him late muzzleloader, or you would get a shot at him before you got your buck. But he made it, and we thought he made it, but we got a picture of him already this year. Normally when we get when our cameras are showing pictures like in January, there's a pretty good chance they're going to make it, but you don't know if they'll make it through the winter or not. But he did make it.
He did, yeah. So that's good. And what's your target buck behind the house?
Kaminsky. But that's if I kill him, and he's not that huge. He's a beautiful mainframe 10. He's got a blind eye. We got some pictures of him last year with an eye that's, I don't know, it doesn't reflect, so he's got to be blind in one eye. But I don't know where he's hanging out. We got him behind the house, a few times, a lot of at nighttime stuff. 2 years ago, when he was 4, I think I glassed him during a late muzzleloader hunt. So I have an idea where he spends his time, or he spends more of his time. But if that's the case, I can't even kill him because he's not on ours. But we'll see if I can put a game plan together for him. but Kaminsky would be my number 1. Probably my number 2 would probably be Sushi
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah. It's a nice one.
So that's a buck that I never saw him last year hunting, but we have a bunch of pictures of him. We got some daylight pictures of him, and he really started showing up more later in the season, and even into December. And I was hoping Lily was going to get a shot at him, so we kind of targeted him for Lily's hunt, but we never did see him.
And Jessica, our daughter-in-law, found this shed this spring. Her and I were shed hunting, and she found him, so it's pretty cool.
So he's 4 there, a 4 point. On this other side, he's a 5 point. Christmas Eve, you were with the family. I was hunting, but it was
Yeah,
raining.
yeah.
But it was raining, so I sat in the truck actually and glassed, where I can watch this road. I was actually watching a road.
So you weren't hunting on Christmas Eve?
Yeah, that's part of hunting.
Oh, okay.
And I glassed Sushi crossing the road, so I got just a real quick glimpse of him. And then Lily and I, tried to get in position to kill him there, but we never had a good hunt where we saw him. So he would be my number 2, I think, just because he's elusive and he's not going to score a lot, but he's a cool buck. A lot of mass.
Yeah, he's got a lot of mass.
Lot of mass.
A lot of mass.
Then of course there's Pickett.
Yeah.
Pickett's a mainframe 10.
Big.
A lot of mass. He's not real wide, but he's really massive. I passed him up last year. I saw him the year before during late muzzleloader. So he's going to be 6 this year, at least 6. Got a lot of history with him with cameras and stuff, but other than that pass last year, well, I could have shot him late muzzleloader too, 2 years ago, but I let him go, hoping somebody else would get him in the family, and we never did see him again. But Pickett would be another one that I'd be after.
And then there's Brutus. Brutus is behind the house all the time. All the time. I saw him sitting with our brother-in-law Anthony one night. I saw him with our son Forrest. And then I saw him with our daughter Lily one night. So he's behind the house. Every time I went behind the house, which isn't very often, but when I did go, he was always there.
And I saw him 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. And he's not very big antlered, but big body, and he just...
Big neck.
I think he's kind of the brute in the area. I think he's just, I don't know, he's a big body.
I think he's a bully because we always had pretty good hunting behind the house and saw a fair amount of bucks. And then last year, I don't know if he moved in or if he was 3 and made it to 4 or whatever, but last year we didn't see hardly any bucks behind the house. I mean, we did sporadically, but every time you saw Brutus, he actually would like trash corn stalks and make rubs and just nonstop, all like heavy rut activity every time you saw him.
Yeah.
And then when you saw him, you didn't really see a lot of other deer.
No.
For at least bucks. So I think he is kind of a bully. So we'll see if he shows up.
Yeah.
So that'd be, and I'm sure there's a 3-year-old or 2 that is going to show up this year as a 4 that we'll have to see, what
Right.
shows up.
Right.
So.
Never know.
And then at our cabin farm, and we're kind of spoiled over there.
Yeah.
We bought that farm in 2012. You couldn't hardly see a deer on that farm. It was just wide open. And that very first year, we late muzzleloader hunted it. And then after like a couple days there wasn't even any tracks, and there was snow on the ground. Forrest and I just gave up our hunt and just started doing chainsaw work. And now so that's been 12 years. There's been thousands of hours of chainsaw work and stuff done on that farm.
You've done a lot of work.
And it's probably the best farm that I've ever had a chance to hunt. And we got some nice bucks over there. Number 1 is this guy. So this is actually a 3-year-old. We're going to nickname him Pop-Tart. And we have our reasoning, but he was a 3-year-old last year, and Lily, for her late muzzleloader hunt, she told me she wanted to shoot nothing less than 4 was her goal. And he stepped out, and at the time I wasn't sure, but as soon as he stepped out, I was sure he was a 3-year-old, and she passed him up. She wanted to get a 4-year-old, but he was just under 160 inches last year as a 3-year-old. And I'm not a score guy. I mean, don't get me wrong, a 200-inch buck steps out, or of course you want to shoot that, but I'm really not a score guy. I don't hunt deer because of score. I'm not going to pass up a deer to let it score more. But she wanted to shoot a mature buck, and she let it go at 3, but just under 160 as a 3. I mean, he's got a chance to be really big this year as a 4.
Yeah. big.
And I don't know if I'll shoot him this year as a 4. Not because he's not big enough or whatever, but I would really like to see you get him or Jessica get him. That would be my goal for one of you guys to get him. Then there's another buck over there that I call him Hershey. Just kind of like Brutus, just kind of a big deer, kind of a crummy looking rack, just kind of a goofy looking rack, really dark antlers. Mm-hmm. I'd like to see what he turns into this year. And then there's this other big 10-pointer that I don't have a nickname for, but he should be 6 or 7 this year. Again, not a huge rack, but a beautiful buck. He busted off one of his brow tines last year, early in the season, and then we just never saw him. And I thought for sure he was going to show up for late muzzleloader, because 2 years ago I filmed him get up out of his bed, walk through some of our CRP. He was actually bedded in some of edge feathering I did over there. Mm-hmm. Saw him stand up, walk through some CRP, and fed out, and I passed him up. And I thought for sure that last year he would show up like that again late season, and he didn't. Mm-hmm. So maybe he died. Maybe he got shot by another hunter, or who knows, hit by a car or something. But if he's around, that would be another buck that I would want to kill. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm sure again there's probably some others over there that we're missing, or that are 3 years old that are going to be 4 this year. So I think that's about it. This is, to me, this is going to be the most exciting buck to see if he should show back up. I doubt if he died if we got his sheds.
Right.
So he should be there.
Right.
But yeah, we'll see what happens.
So yeah, the next time you'll see me is behind Worm.
Behind Worm, huh? Mm-hmm. So I'll be behind the camera, you'll be behind Worm.
Yep.
The next time we see you?
Yeah. I only make small appearances and.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right, Mrs. Humble. Okay, good hunting out there, everybody, and
good luck.
We'll be gone a lot, so I don't know how many more videos we're going to do, but we'll try and kick right back in at season opener. Yeah. So, good luck, everyone.